Alrighty, guys. Third part here, last and final section that we're going to be talking about is something that we've referenced here and there. We're going to compare this to the plans that Marvel did through the Avengers Phase 1. And in comparison, how the hell did DC think that this is going to work for them? Because they are not following suit. Marvel had three films basically for each character in mind. Maybe not everybody, because we didn't see a second film for the Incredible Hulk. It doesn't look like we're going to see three films for the Guardians of the Galaxy. We obviously haven't seen three films from Ant-Man because we haven't even seen one of them yet. But, I mean, they set up a pretty good, solid foundation for these films. They had two Iron Man films, a Captain America one, and a Thor one, including the Incredible Hulk, to build these characters around for the first Avengers movie. And we're going to go into Justice League with what seems like Man of Steel and Superman and Batman. How unbalanced is that? And how in the hell do they think they can backtrack and create solo films out of those other characters? How do you get around the situation where you haven't built up a backstory for three of your main characters and then you're going to go do solo films? Do they just over abuse the flashback thing? Which I'm already getting tired of because Batman Begins did it well. Man of Steel, it kind of felt a little bit too much like Batman Begins to me. And even though I really love Batman Begins, and I think it's actually probably the better film out of the three, I didn't like the idea that Man of Steel did the same thing. And I really don't want to see Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Green Lantern pop up in Avengers and then just go, listen, we don't have the patience to do these ahead of time and we don't have the money to figure it out. So why don't we just throw them in there, then we'll figure it out. And then when it comes to a solo Wonder Woman film, they go, by the way, remember Wonder Woman from the film? Now let's do flashbacks and show you who Diana is. Now let's give you a flashback and give you the whole backstory of Barry Allen and his mother and Hal Jordan. Let's go back and do that. That's a huge mistake in my book. I have no clue how they're going to pull that off. What do you think, Dace?
It's tough because I've been saying it all through this our entire podcast and all the sections we've done so far. If you take the time and you build it and you make it worthwhile for the fans to invest in, then yes, it could be something great. And like you said, it's being rushed. We're going to have two films and then boom, Justice League. If you look back at like my childhood in general, there were two superheroes on the market for me. There was Batman and there was the X-Men. Because they were they were marketed to us like hell. We had the X-Men 90s series, we had so many Batman versions, we had the movies, all that. They were prominent figures, and it's weird that once Marvel took the initiative to start building this universe on film, if you look at my collection now, it is so dominated by Marvel because it created that interest. It created everything to go back and look into it, and they took their time. They built Iron Man, they built Thor, they built Cap. I virtually knew nothing about these three until these movies started coming out. Then I went back and read everything I could on them. And now I'm invested going forward with Marvel. DC has not been able to like pique that same interest for me because they don't take that time to build it. They're just looking for the cash. Christopher Nolan hit gold. That's fantastic. The Avengers did great. We can do the same thing, but they're going to rush it. So if they take their time, slow down, push it back as far as you can, because I really think what they have envisioned now is just going to be a complete train wreck, and just get people on the project that care writer-wise. I think you've got a good team of actors. I think you'll lose them if you keep messing with the production and tweaking things, but you got to build. I don't think the Justice League movie should be seen until like 2018, 19, 20, because they are not ready.
If you build it, Dace will come.
Exactly. Right right now, I'm going to buy popcorn and I'm going to go sit in like Despicable Me 7, whatever the hell's going on. I don't know.
Even more despicable you are. Sam, what do you think about this? Are they screwing themselves by doing this, or is this kind of one of those things where they're going to cut to the chase and everybody's going to go, I didn't really care anyway, I just wanted to see Justice League?
You know what? I don't think they're gonna rush it because what I think their plan is is they're going to have, unlike Marvel, where they established every single character and then brought them together, I think DC's attitude is going to be, you already know who Green Lantern is. You already know who Batman is. You already know who all these heroes are. What's cool is seeing them all together on the film. And I think what's going to spawn from the Justice League film, like a solo Wonder Woman, maybe another a reboot of the Green Lantern, possibly a solo Flash, is that we're not going to see their origin stories. We're going to see them in the aftermath of the Justice League with their own villains. Like, if going back to what I heard them say about Man of Steel, how the heroes already existed in the Superman universe. The world just wasn't aware of them because they were hiding. What was it? It was one of Jor-El's speeches in the movie where he said,
Isn't your dad John a dick? Aren't I the better dad for you? Come home.
Yeah. Where he said that they will stand behind you, they will tumble, they will fall, but in the end they will join you in the sun, and you will help them accomplish wonders. Where each hero has their powers, has their costume, has their name, but maybe they're just not out in like public. So like Batman's been doing this for a while and he's quasi-retired. Well, maybe nobody outside of Gotham City knows who Batman is. And maybe even Gotham City, they still don't even like, maybe it's only been like, it was 10 years ago. And they're like, yeah, we remember there was this guy they were calling Batman, but outside of that, we got no fucking clue who this guy is. Green Lantern, I mean, most of his stories are in space anyway. So if there is, like, the government possibly knows the Green Lantern, like, the Flash, I mean, he's too fucking quick. You can't catch that guy on camera or anything. So maybe the characters are too afraid of what would happen if the world found out who they were. And now that Superman is, not only does the world know who he is, but some of them even see him as the savior of what happened, that they like Jor-El said, they will join you in the sun. Now that he is a face, now they can stand behind him, and together they can do the wonders that none of them could individually. So I think, don't give us their origin stories. Maybe talk about it in the past. Like, you don't just have to assume everybody knows who they are. I wouldn't do it in flashbacks, though. I would just maybe, like, just bits of information scattered throughout the film about who they were. And then after the Justice League, give me a story of Green Lantern going into space and fighting Sinestro. Give me a story of Flash after the Justice League. I mean, the Flash has shitty villains anyway, so just give me fucking Reverse Flash or fucking Captain Boomerang. I don't know. But, like, do you kind of see where I'm going with that? Like, do you agree, disagree?
I think that there's some flaws with it, but I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I still think they end up having to do some flashbacks eventually, because if you introduce a character like Flash in the Justice League movie and it's like, oh, Flash is a Flash, and then when we have a sequel movie where it's just the Flash and you go into the movie and it's like, well, the Flash is a Flash, people will be like, well, how did they become a Flash?
Yeah.
And then you have to do a flashback, which is kind of funny that you would say that.
Call it
Flashback. Right, Flash, back. Like the most underwhelming title of all time. What do you think, Nikki? Is that, well, I already know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, that's not the best title of all time. What are you talking about? I disagree with you, Tony. But no, do you think that this is a good plan, or do you think this is going to backfire on them? Backfire on them?
I think it's pretty okay. I mean, there are not everything I totally agree with, but the main thing I do understand and see also that could also happen is basically, oh, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, such and such, all in the same movie. Like, we don't know much about them, but we know who they are, and they're all going to be in a movie. So, we can basically throw out whatever we want, and people are going to eat it up, and they're gonna watch it no matter what. Um, with the case of everybody like us in the discussion that's not going to be what's expected, if that does happen, it's gonna completely backfire with many people who are like very surefire into the comic books and the movies and whatnot, who want it to be accurate no matter what. But there are people who go to the movies not knowing a single fucking thing about them, and they're gonna love whatever's thrown at them. So hopefully, I just want them to keep, even if they change some things, like what was mentioned with Iron Man and the Mandarin, even if they change some things, as long as you keep it logical and it not being not it like it doesn't contradict anything else in the story, I'm gonna be okay as long as it's not a stupid ass plan. um, but I mean, as long as it's not just making a movie for the sake of all of these well-known characters that everybody knows, to be put into it for the sake of money, and it just be completely shitty storylines, and I think I'm going to be okay for the most part.
One other question I wanted to say before we finish this off. Where do you guys think this is going to go in the future? How do you end the Justice League films? Marvel has already said that they've got, I mean, they told you right off the bat they're doing at least 3. And they haven't really said it officially, but they have mentioned that they would want the Avengers to continue. Maybe they'll do the new Avengers. Maybe they'll have the East Coast or whatever like that. Different versions of the Avengers. Maybe the Defenders on TV. Lots of different stuff like that. So they're going to keep building. What do you do with Justice League, though? Do you just do 3 movies and end it? Do you kill the characters off? Do you reboot the universe afterward? What would you like to see as the end point of this, Dace?
I think would be awesome is at the end of this Justice League movie, Bob Iger walks out and he goes, Walt Disney has just purchased DC. We're going to start with a blank slate. Forgive us for everything that's happened in the past.
He comes out like Sam Jackson in Iron Man.
Yes,
We're the only people that Disney owns.
with an eye patch to say, you're now going to be in a good family. And like George Lucas is next to him and Stan Lee.
And Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, and Mickey Mouse. Other than that, maybe a bomb that kills them all. I don't know. I'm just really not impressed with their cinematic universe. I'm impressed with their TV shows, but movies have been falling flat on me.
So you don't want to tie it back to Field of Dreams and have it end with, it turns out that the Justice League is on the edge of the universe, and on the other edge of the universe is like where all the dead people are, and they just play baseball.
I'd be cool if like the hell's his name?
Kevin Costner comes back and they end up doing some kind of reference to that.
Christopher Reeves walks out, or comes out on a horse, riding valiantly. No,
Jesus.
The one Superman from the alternate universe just wakes up and goes, "Oh, it's just a dream," and we could just literally play it off that it was just a dream.
Sam, how should this end?
With Adam West waking up and it was all his wild and crazy dreams.
Wakes up in Quahog.
I was just gonna say Adam West as Batman or Adam West as Adam West. So that's a TV show that I did.
I think it's too early to see where they're gonna end this. I mean, we only have one film in what's expected to be an entire franchise. But where could they end it? I don't see them pulling an Avengers where they've already stated, like you said, that once the third Avengers is done, like there could be a new Captain America. There could be all these little side characters that like aren't huge right now. They could start reinventing and bringing them out. I don't really see DC doing that. They're taking a real gamble with. I went on with what they could do with having this Justice League movie and then splintering off. But backtracking a little bit, it's still a gamble to do that. And I think if they're going to roll the dice and see if this is going to work, they really can afford to, once their main heroes are done, play with their unknown heroes. I don't see it. I see this as ending in a really cool attempt on their part, and maybe something that once we have kids, we be like, hey, there was this really great try at a cinematic universe. But I see them probably in the next 15, 20 years just rebooting it again.
Nikki?
I honestly don't really want to see it rebooted. Unlike bigger things like with Marvel, such as the Avengers, you can do a little more with the Avengers simply because one, there's more characters, obviously, like they're doing with Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. They bring them all together, and then the next phase comes out, new movies. Then they all come together again, Can't really do that with a lot of DC characters besides Batman, really. Nobody's going to watch 3 Wonder Woman movies in a row. They're starting out with Superman, bringing Superman and Batman in together, correlating with each other. But other than that, I mean, what are you going to do with 3 Shazam movies or 3 Flash movies? I mean, it's going to be a little weird to do simply because the characters aren't strong enough. So you can only reboot something so many times. Do I think that the Justice League movies are going to be weak? Not at all. Just coming out, I think it has a lot of potential. But watching the second or third rebooted Justice League series is going to be a little boring for me. And I don't think it would do so well for it to be rebooted multiple times. They're probably going to try anyway. But for me, I really hope that if it is really good, they just keep it there, and maybe they can fucking reboot Batman or Superman or something again. Because, like I said, they're probably going to no matter what. But I just prefer to it be maybe like a 3-movie series and then call it quits for this. So, but you never know. We'll see. It's whatever.
If I can interject one more thing, actually, that I think would be cool.
You can interject 5 more things if you have them.
Sweet. If they do, like I had said, and they do reboot after all of this, I think an interesting way to do it, it would have to be a film version. I wouldn't want to see the comics come to life on film. They would have to make it their own. But kind of do a Flashpoint, where after the end of all the cinematic universe, once it starts coming to a close, if you want to reboot it, have a Flashpoint-like thing where the entire universe is kind of like the slate is swiped clean, and now you can tell all these stories over again because of some sort of paradox that was created.
Do like Crisis on Infinite Earths, but
kind of
in the style of what we think. I don't know. There's no confirmation yet, but what we think that Days of Future Past is going to be.
Something like that, yeah.
I can see that happening.
Dace?
I have a pretty simple answer when it comes to this. I don't know. I have no idea how they end this. And you go back to my thing I said before where it was, try to plan out what would you do and how I wouldn't have started off with Man of Steel acting the way that it did, and I wouldn't do Superman, Batman, and I wouldn't not have the solo films and all that. Even if I were given the choice of doing solo films, I still don't know how I would end it, because I don't know how I want Avengers to end. I know I want Avengers 3 to end with them beating Thanos, but I have no idea whatsoever for Justice League. And that's going to be part of the fun, I think. Unless they keep lowering their standards and everything, because I was disappointed with Man of Steel, and if all we ever get is something equal or worse than Man of Steel, I'm going to lose it. But if they give me what they are hoping that they'll give me, and that's like everything that I would want as a Batman, Superman, Justice League, DC character fan, I don't even know. But hey, for anybody listening out there, if you have any pitches for anything like that, go ahead and leave us a comment. Tell us what you think that they should do for the future. And you know what? The other parts as well. Tell us what you guys think about all the stuff that we talked about for this episode. And the last thing that we're going to do here is we're just going to go around one more time, some quick plugs to throw out there. and then that'll be it. So I'm going to go in reverse mode here. Nikki, is there anything that you want to plug or throw out there for a mention or anything of the sort?
Um, just getting back into the swing of things after school and holidays and not having a laptop. Have everything starting to come and wind back down. I'll have more time for Fanboys Anonymous. You'll see me every Wednesday on the Dace Show. You can follow me on Tumblr. It's voteforsatan.tumblr.com. Follow me on Twitter. It's _and_mills. I've actually had people message me and ask me what my Twitter name was, thinking that it was a fucking hyphen. It's not a hyphen. It's an underscore. Other than that, that's really about it. Like I said, I'm going to try to make my appearance a little more prevalent than it has been in the last couple of months.
The one with the hyphen is Doppelganger Nikki.
Yeah.
One of the other Infinite Earths. Sam, you're up.
Well, like Nikki said, I'll try to be a little more prevalent with articles on fanboysanonymous.com, but I need to get the fuck out of college, so I need to really focus on that first. But you can definitely check me out on Tumblr, science101blog.tumblr.com. I'm starting up the Science 101 channel after I graduate, so in a few months there'll be more information on that. I've already got a good follower base on both Tumblr and Facebook, so if you love science as much as I do, definitely check it out.
And the Dace Man.
Hey, check me out every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Mega Powers Radio, The Dace Man Show. Follow me on Twitter at The Dace Man. Check out everything I'm doing on fanboysanonymous.com, such as the 2014 Internet Goddess Tournament and our successful charity that happened over the weekend also went down, so we're always doing new things there. And that's about all I got.
Alrighty, guys. Keep checking out everything with Fanboys Anonymous. The Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube channel, iTunes, Stitcher. God knows, we're going to make something of everything. We're going to make it a Zanga account. Why not?
A new Flappy.
Right. Friendster. We're going to go back in time.
I'll set us up an account on Match.com.
Yeah, why not? For the Fangirls Anonymous out there. But we're going to be doing so much more stuff. I mean, every single week we've got new stuff that we're bringing out there for fanboys. Eventually, we're going to be debuting a brand new style segment of the podcast called Commentary Fan Tracks, where we're going to do pretty much what you would expect to hear from that. We're going to watch something together. We're going to record our fan commentary instead of the people that worked on the movies, because who cares what they think about this kind of stuff? You want to hear what fans think about it. And it's not going to be in the style of a riff tracks kind of thing where we just make fun of stuff. We're not going to watch stuff that we can just make fun of. We're going to watch things that we love, that we're fanboys of. And we're going to get lots of other kind of different segments out there as well, including fanboy fights. We're going to start doing everything with different features that are already on the website, debuting new members to the team that are going to bring new stuff on board. I can't list everything because obviously that'll take forever, but stay tuned to everything with Fanboys Anonymous by going to fanboysanonymous.com and checking out all those other kind of social media things that we have going on. Our next group meeting may be in this month as well. We may do 2 group meetings this month instead of just 1. If we do, you'll be hearing very, very soon from us. If not, stay tuned for episode 3 whenever it comes out. Thank you, everybody, for listening and for your comments and everything else that you've done in regards to the show. This meeting is adjourned.